Hello and welcome to another episode of Scott Reads Comics. Today we've got a great issue to cover. Incredible Hulk 212 with the very first appearance of one of my favorite lesser Marvel villains, the Constrictor. On our cover, which is done by Rich Buckler and the issue's interior inker Ernie Chan, we have the Constrictor grappling with the Hulk, utilizing his adamantium coils. And we've got Jim Wilson in the background looking very concerned. And we've got, of course, a wonderful word balloon here with the Constrictor saying, "My whips are utterly unbreakable. They'll grow tighter and tighter until..." And then he dramatically trails off. And underneath the Incredible Hulk logo, we have "Crushed by the Constrictor." And finally, a tagline, "The Green Goliath battles a paid assassin and his awesome adamantium coils." So we are in for a good one here. We have our great Sal Buscema corner piece. Sal took over the series in 194 from the amazing Herb Trimpe. And so now we are a year and a half into his amazing run. And he is paired now with inker Ernie Chan, and we're going to get into that. This issue came out in 1977. Had it as a kid, loved it, and it's always stuck with me. All right, so our creative team is Len Wein, writer-editor, Sal Buscema and Ernie Chan, illustrators, Glynis Wein, colorist, and John Costanza, letterer. So our splash page is a great one here, starting out with Hulk's companion, Jim Wilson, in this alleyway looking at essentially a wanted poster of the Hulk, greatly rendered here by our art team. And the first caption reads, "Marvel Spot Quiz number 398. Answer the following question. New York City is A, the Big Apple, B, Fun City, C, the Concrete Jungle, D, a nice place to visit, but choose any or all of the above." For the newly arrived and travel-weary Jim Wilson, the answer is E, a maddening maze that must be unraveled if he ever hopes to find the great green Goliath he calls his friend. It is also, more than likely, the place where Jim Wilson will die. And we have our title, "Crushed by the Constrictor." You can see this ominous-looking thug here stalking toward Jim Wilson. Jim Wilson appears to be unaware. "Crud, whatever made me think it would be easy to find my big green buddy here? I don't even know where to start." I wouldn't worry about starting anything if I was you, punk. You just ain't got that much time left. So this guy sneaks up on Jim Wilson and grabs him, but Jim Wilson tells him he's got to look for easier pickings because he's a kid from the street of Watts in L.A. and he knows how to take care of himself. But this guy pulls out a blackjack, and so Wilson knows when he's outgunned. Kicks a trash can into his face and takes off. "Then cut and run as fast as your little legs can carry you." "Well, you ain't getting far, punk. I'm getting paid a bundle to finish you. And there ain't nothing that's going to keep me from..." Hey! So this truck almost crushes the guy. We see it here in the background as Wilson's rushing across the street. And when the truck passes, Jim Wilson appears to have vanished. "He's gone. But where?" Actually, it's not all that hard to guess, the caption says. "Cripes, I traveled 3,000 miles, and they're still on my case. Now I've really got to find the Hulk, for both our sakes." So Jim Wilson was able to adroitly grab the side of this truck and hang on and let it carry him to safety for now. Meanwhile, while a block or two away, "Now what do? I've lost that little punk, and there's no way I can face the boss again without him." So this guy's afraid of someone he calls the boss. He decides he's going to beat feet and get out of town rather than face the music. But unfortunately, whoosh, he is grabbed by some metallic coil here. "Irk," he says. "No, it's too late. He already knows. But how? How? What kind of monster is he?" "Did you say monster, my friend?" "No, boss. Sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything by it." And we see the coil retracting into a forearm sheath here. Very cool. And we are about to see what I think is a pretty visually stunning Marvel villain. Of course you meant it, fool, and rightly so. My wrath is monstrous indeed when I must deal with incompetence, but I need only tighten my grip to eliminate your... Please, boss, no. Before I lost the kid, I planted that tracer on him, just like you told me to. How unfortunate, or how fortunate for you. So Constrictor here holding this guy up by one hand with zero effort at all, and then he just drops him, sparing his miserable life. Now, if you are wise, fool, you will leave this city rather than let me set eyes on you again. It appears the time has come for young Jim Wilson to feel the crushing power of the Constrictor. So, great clear panel here, our first clear shot of the Constrictor in his cool costume. And good time for me to pause in the story and talk about the work of artists Sal Buscema and Ernie Chan. So a few issues earlier, they started a new direction for the Hulk and was kind of trying to have Banner establish more of a home base and a normal life, and to put a new cast of characters around him to kind of just refresh things a little bit. He still turns into the Hulk when he gets angry and all that stuff, but they were trying to give him sort of a slightly new direction. And Sal had been on the title, and they added inker Ernie Chan. And Ernie Chan, one of those great Filipino artists, is he's got a very strong line as an inker. Those times he inked Sal's brother John on Conan, those many dozens of issues he inked him across numerous titles. It was, as soon as you opened the book, you realized it was Ernie Chan inks. Ernie Chan has a very strong line, and he can take what any penciler gives him and give it sort of the Ernie Chan identity. And sometimes that's a bug, but in this series, I feel like it's a real feature, because Sal's pencils are great, and Sal's an awesome layout guy. But while Joe Staton's inks on him before Ernie came onto this title were good, I think Ernie just makes them that much better, and they're a great pairing for this 10 or 11 issue run when they're together. Very cool stuff. So we'll leave the Constrictor and move on to our main character in this story. While in a modest boarding house on Manhattan's Lower East Side, Lord, am I bored. What in God's good name ever made me think I would enjoy the so-called normal life? So we have Bruce Banner here holding a wand with a magician's hat. It's one of the supporting characters from the previous story. The stuff belongs to him. He's a magician. I have no real friends. I can't find a job. And I spent most of my time stuck in this apartment. Even a 2-bit roadshow magician couldn't stand. The real life is definitely not a bowl of cherries, Bruce. It's a bowl of pits. So we see the magic trick sort of backfires as the flowers that come out of the hat are dead. Wilted, every last one of them. And on that sorry note, I rest my case. So great depiction of Banner here by our art team, and Len Wein spot on scripting here. Bruce, I hope I'm not disturbing you, but your door was open, and I thought we might have a little talk. April Summers. And what does my favorite landlady want with, hey, you look serious, is something wrong? Yes, Bruce, I'm afraid there is. When I rented you the flat a few days back, it was mostly on a whim. I realize now that I know nothing about you, not even your last name. Who are you, Bruce? What are you all about? And Bruce thinks, swell. So I think they were setting this April Summers character up to be a romantic interest for Bruce. She certainly looks the part. Eventually, Len leaves the series, and they don't really, this plot doesn't really pay off with her. But it creates a cool bit of tension while she's here. She wants to know more about Bruce. He takes a chance and tells her his full name. She doesn't make the connection that Bruce Banner equals the Hulk. But at least he puts that out there. That's a start anyway. Go on. I'd really rather not, April. Why? What do you have to hide? So she wants to know more about his background beyond even his last name. If I told you I was an ex-convict, would it make a difference in my staying here? Of course not. Are you an ex-con, Bruce? No, but I'd still rather keep my past my own. So for now, she says, okay, I'll grant you your privacy, but we're going to have another talk. And so Bruce is thinking, well, so what am I supposed to do now with this looming confrontation? Meanwhile, several thousand miles away, the self-same question is being echoed by a certain Mrs. Betty Ross Talbot. Girl, run away. Well, sister, what are you supposed to do now? You said you left Gamma Base behind so you could find yourself. All you have to figure out now is where to start looking. So last issue, Betty was fed up with her father, General Thunderbolt Ross, and everything else that went on with her husband, Glenn Talbot, who was presumed dead, then returned seemingly from the dead, but had his was kind of in a fugue state, and so she just decided she was going to try to make her own life. She's free of the influence of Bruce Banner and the Hulk, and she wants to just be her own person. So she basically gets a bunch of new clothes and rents in a hotel room and decides to do a little physical transformation to help toward her mental transformation. She thinks to herself, Lord, I'm so frightened of my father's influence. I even registered in this hotel under an assumed name, so he couldn't track me down. Not that he'd even recognize me anymore if he found me. The mousy little Betty Ross he knew is gone for good, dead and buried in an unmarked grave. So look out, world, because there's a whole new Betty Ross coming your way. So it looks like she might have colored her hair blonde as well from the previous brown color. She's got a whole new get-up on, little pantsuit going. And we'll see if this storyline has time to pay off during Ween's tenure on the book. Meanwhile, back to Jim Wilson, who's on the run. Wow, New York. The way I've been zigging and zagging, ain't no way that dude could still be following me. But I can't keep going it alone. Please, Ma Bell, if you got any sense of mercy at all, help me connect with my big green buddy. So this is of course in the era of phone booths and phone books, and so Jim is using information essentially to try and track Bruce Banner down, but he guesses that Banner might be under another assumed name, so he says to the operator, and how about trying Bruce Roberts? What? No, I ain't playing games, lady. Yeah, I know your time is important, but sister, this is even more important to me. Huh? You found the number? It's what? Yeah, got it. Hey, sorry for the hassles, and thanks. So Jim gets a number. He thinks is the right number. He tracks it down and calls, and it's Bruce. Who answers? Who? Jim Wilson? Where are you calling me from, son? How did you find me? Ain't got time to go into that now, Doc, but I'm in town and I need your help. I'm down in the village at the corner of Mercer and 8th. Can you meet me at, huh? And then suddenly Jim is cut off and Banner becomes concerned. Jim, what's going on there? What's that horrible sound? Jim? So Bruce realizes something went wrong and he's going to go help his friend because Jim Wilson's been there for him countless times. And we'll get back to that in a moment, but first, and on a special shield tanker somewhere out at sea. Take it easy with that baby, Boobala. Just hoist away and stop tearing what's left of your hair out, Gaffer. We're not going to damage your precious little package. So we have a special team here that have brought this weird capsule up from the bottom of the sea, apparently. And we're going to see what could possibly be lurking within this capsule. Nothing personal, boy chick. It's just that when Sidney E. Levine takes on a job, he likes to do it right, or he doesn't like to do it at all. Man, you treat that cylinder like it was full of diamonds or something, Gaffer. That's just it. We don't know what it's full of. And I'm taking no chances till I find out. So I think this might be, this is a SHIELD agent. It's not Jasper Sitwell. It could be just another unnamed agent. I'm not sure. There's the capsule on board. I'd better call Fury and tell him. SHIELD's top kick don't like to be kept waiting. Yeah, that's right, Nikki. The capsule's safe and sound, but it's still emitting the gamma radiation that led us to it in the first place. And Fury replies over the radio, then you'd better get it up to the helicarrier and contact Gamma Base. They're supposed to be experts on gamma radiation. Have them send a few of their boys up to examine the capsule. You're the boss, Nikki. Anything you say. I'm signing off now, Boychik. See you soon. So Gaffer's kind of a cool supporting character through this little mini run of the Hulk. So what did happen to Jim Wilson on the other end of that phone? We're about to find out. Time dissolve to a scene we have already witnessed. Jim Wilson alone in a public phone booth. So just as he tells Bruce his location, now witness what happened next. What in Sam Hill? We see the familiar coil of the constrictor shatter the phone booth, demonstrating his power. Not what, young man, who? You have been creating a great deal of trouble for my employer on the West Coast, and the constrictor is here to put an end to it. Holy cats! Thrack! Whoosh. Now that we have that whoosh, that trademark sound of the constrictor's coils, and a really great center panel here showing him shattering this phone booth around Wilson, who's lucky he wasn't cut to ribbons. And he makes a break for it. Now, before he can crack those crazy whips at me again, I gotta make a break for it. You young fool. Nothing that lives can escape my far-reaching. Curse it! He kicked that trash can into my path. So just as he's boasting that nothing that lives can escape his coils, Jim Wilson uses the same trick he used earlier and kicks a trash can in the way to make his escape. But it's only a temporary respite, as we're about to see. That kind of stunt will only work once against a dude like him. The only chance I've got now is to try and lose myself in this abandoned building. So Wilson peers out into the street and thinks maybe he might have lost him. Got to get away from here, fast. But unfortunately, the constrictor has not gone very far. Ugh, Shrack. So he wraps him up again, and you can see the coil stings him as he's grappling him. Fool, did you truly believe I would leave here without you? When the constrictor accepts a contract, my friend, he always fulfills it. While half a block away, Banner arrives. He pays the cabbie and tips him as well. He's a nice guy. And realizes that that's the phone booth where Wilson was calling him from, and it's totally trashed. Look at this mess. What happened here? This has to be the spot Jim called me from. But where in God's name is, eh? So as Banner looks out, we'll turn the page here, and we'll take a quick peek at our letters page, see if there's anything interesting. We have an interesting letter here from Ralph Macchio, who was also a Marvel bullpenner at the time, who writes a very complimentary letter about the new direction of the Hulk that started a few issues back in 207, or 208, I should add. I should correct myself. It was 208 when this sort of kind of new direction started for the Hulk. So I'll just read a little bit of Macchio's closing here. I could babble on forever. So in the interest of good taste, let me thank Len Wein for quickly dispelling any small doubts I'd entertained on his tenure on the Hulk, and wish him and Sal and new inker Ernie Chan the very best of luck as they lay plans for what may be the greatest era in the Hulk's turbulent existence yet. I know I'm just one of the multitude of Hulk fans congratulating you on this magazine's sudden return to greatness. I only hope we can do half as well in the Rampaging Hulk Black and White. So Macchio was working on that Rampaging Hulk Black and White magazine at the time, kind of a sister magazine to the Conan's, the Savage Sword of Conan Black and White. And Len, who's the editor, replies, well, from what we've seen of the Rampaging Hulk so far, Ralph, you're sure not doing badly. And if you're one of the unfortunate few who haven't latched hold of Mighty Marvel's most mildly sensational new black and white bombshell yet, faithful one, Get on down to your local news dealer or whatever and quickly hop aboard the bandwagon, or you know who may smash. Seriously though, Ralph, we'd like to thank you for your unsolicited little missive. You certainly haven't lost your touch since your old letter hack days. And were you ever right about the marvelous multitude who wrote in to praise our spanking new direction, with everyone's favorite man brute as witness the following missives and excerpts. So everyone else is pretty excited too. Cool little thing, a letter from just down the hall at the bullpen. Back to our story. Bruce Banner notices Jim Wilson being shoved into this car by some shady figure, the constrictor obviously. Hey you in the sedan, hold on a second fella, I want to talk to you. So he starts rushing toward him, and the constrictor's having none of it. What I don't understand, lad, is why you bothered leaving Los Angeles. You merely cost me that much extra time and trouble for which I intend to repay you in what? Hold up, blast it. Stop, or I'll call the police. The fool, by standing in my way, he assigned his own death warrant. He isn't even slowing down. He must be mad. He's planning to hit me. Great panel here. 4 panels of the constrictor. And you can see the constrictor's face slowly change from grim satisfaction to utter shock, because while they don't show it, you know what's happening at the other end of his vision here as he's witnessing an astounding transformation. He says, I don't know who that interloper is, nor do I very much care. I know only that he dared to interfere with the constrictor, and for that he must suffer the no. Awesome panel here is Scrockroom. The car smashes into a now Hulk, not Banner, Hulk standing in the road and is totally trashed. The man has become a monster. Only my snake-like speed can save me now. It's a great shot of Constrictor bailing on the car. And we have our first appearance of the Hulk in this issue. So, once again, puny humans attack Hulk with their puny machines, only to have their machines destroyed. Just as Hulk will destroy you, Snake Man. So you are the Hulk, eh? I've heard of you, monster, and I do not fear you. So Constrictor, he has got some brass on him. Because if he's truly heard of the Hulk, it's pretty impressive that he continues to face him down. Then Snake Man is a fool. You tried to kill Hulk, Snake Man, and for that Hulk will... Hulk hears the voice, a familiar voice. There is another puny human still inside the broken car. Hey, Hulk, old buddy. Long time no see. You? Hulk knows you, little one. You are Hulk's friend, Jim. Right on, Jim says. Hold on, Jim. Hulk will get you out of broken car like this. So he easily rips the hood off. Thanks, old buddy. I knew you wouldn't fail me, but I thought my goose was as good as cooked there for a minute. Huh? Hulk doesn't understand. What does Jim mean? That guy over there in the snakeskin suit, the Constrictor, somebody paid him to kill me, Hulk, to put me 6 feet under. Great shot of Hulk cradling Jim Wilson. The difference in scale is so cool. And just the muscularity and the power in the Ernie Chan Sal Buscema Hulk is just truly impressive. Might be, besides Trimpe, who draws my favorite Hulk, this is probably my second favorite. And after that would probably be Byrne. But yeah, I really love this version of the Hulk. Now let's get into our fight. It's brief, only a few pages, but it is cool. An assignment I still intend to carry out. For years I have been the world's foremost assassin, fulfilling my contracts unseen, undiscovered. You have forced me to come into the open for the first time, young man, and now you must pay the price. Bah! You stay here, Jim. Hulk will deal with Snake Man. Be careful, big buddy. Jim Wilson is Hulk's friend, Snake Man. Hulk does not have many friends, and Hulk will do anything to protect them. Go away, Snake Man, or Hulk will smash. I already told you once, monster, I'm not afraid of you. then Hulk will crush Snake Man like a, huh? Great shot here of panel here of Constrictor agilely avoiding Hulk's blow and actually using Hulk's body to vault over him, and then deploying his coil in the next panel. Excellent. And I love this sound effect that we're seeing here. Whoosh, whoosh. Great one there by our letterer. And I always forget. Let me see. Oh yeah, John Costanza. Well, it's obvious why it's good. I mean, John Costanza is such a great letterer. The Constrictor is no ordinary man, Hulk. My speed and agility are far greater than those of any reptile. And the retractable whips of my wrists are forged of adamantium alloy, are capable of humbling even you. And here he hits the Hulk's eyes, which is really one of his few vulnerable spots on his body. Hulk's eyes, they sting, they burn. You have blinded Hulk, Snake Man. But Hulk does not have to see you to smash you. And Hulk sends a piece of debris flying at the Constrictor at incredible speed. Perhaps not, monster, but it would certainly help. Your aim is the equal of your grammar. Simply terrible. Go on, Snake Man. Keep taunting Hulk. Keep laughing. Keep talking, Snake Man, so Hulk can follow your voice. So here, Constrictor is getting a little cocky. Rather the raging bull, aren't you, man brute? A mindless animal, seeking a victory you can never attain. Bah! Hulk will show you victory, Snake Man. And Constrictor sort of does the Olay pose of the matador as the Hulk goes careening by him into this wall. When Hulk sets Hulk's hands on you, Hulk will, he runs into the wall and hurts himself. You have tricked Hulk, Snake Man, but you have not beaten Hulk. An easy enough oversight to correct, monster, for this charade has begun to bore me. Up here we have another great Hostess ad. I remember this one well as a kid. Again, never credited on the art. This could be John Romita. Difficult to tell. Could also be Sal Buscema, it might be. Hard to say, but these guys were, as a kid, I always remember these guys. As Cap hits them, they begin to multiply. But he uses the Hostess cakes to distract them, and then he ties them up. So, pretty cool. All right, back to our story. My whips alone could finish you eventually, monster, for adamantium is the one metal even you cannot destroy. But I have no more time to waste. Thus, I shall put an end to this battle by electrifying my coils to a killing voltage. Incredible shot here as the Constrictor wraps the Hulk up at a distance around his neck with his coils, and then sends a lethal shock through it, and Hulk's hair literally standing on end, and he's in intense pain as the shock goes through him. But Hulk is a tough hombre. A moment longer, Hulk, and you will be... No! Hulk does not know whether or not Hulk can break coils, Snake Man. But there is one thing Hulk does know. Hulk can break you, Snake Man. Hulk can break you. Ka-wham! As he smashes him into the wrecked car. Only the Constrictor's insulated uniform protected him, probably from a serious injury from that. Electricity cleared Hulk's eyes, Snake Man. Hulk can see again. And Hulk can, That's right, monster. Stand right where you are. Take one more step towards me, and I'll snap the boy's neck like a twig. No, don't listen to him, Hulk, Jim Wilson says. Let go of Hulk's friend, Snake Man. Let go, or Hulk will smash. But the shockwave generated by the Green Goliath's frustrated pounding does more to separate Jim and the Constrictor than all his empty threats. So yeah, beautiful shot here of this classic strong guy move in comics where he strikes the ground and the seismic waves cause a disruption of the characters along its path. And he does successfully separate Constrictor from Jim Wilson. Curse you, monster. Never before have I been thwarted thus. I'll kill you for this. Do you hear me? I'll kill you. So then we see this caption here is Hulk ducks. But despite his minuscule intellect, the Hulk is no fool. He knows the destructive power of his adversary's slashing wrist whips. Thus, at the last possible incident, he ducks. Thack! As they hit this pole, and the electrified coils sink deep into a nearby lamppost power lines. Instead, for a moment, every street lamp within 3 blocks radius glows brightly with the constrictor's power, until slowly, one by one, the lamps go out. Great symbolism here as the lamps are about to go out with the constrictor too. And his costume's internal power pack completely drained, the constrictor goes out with them. Did Snake Man hurt you, Jim? No, big buddy. I'm okay, I guess. You know what the funniest part is, Hulk? No, Jim. What? I came to New York to help you. Great ending. Next issue, you just don't quarrel with the Quintronic Man. Fantastic wrap up to this really great fight between these two characters. Seemingly mismatched, but the Constrictor did really well based on the disparate power levels of the two characters. And I want to say that besides Ultron and Wolverine, Constrictor is maybe the third adamantium-wielding character in the Marvel Universe. Now the Marvel Universe is filthy with them because, they just kept adding them and adding them. It became almost like a trend. But the Constrictor, he was into adamantium almost at the ground level. As probably the third character to really use it as his main shtick. So a great issue, Hulk 212, once again plucked from a dollar bin, and well worth the buck. And we're going to explore more issues in this Len Wein, Sal Buscema, Ernie Chan run of the Hulk. There's a great Jack of Hearts issue. The next issue, 213, the Quintronic Man's really good. Jack of Hearts is 214. There's a fantastic By Beast issue, which is that capsule that we revealed in the one sequence in here is going to pay off later in the series. So great stuff. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe and tell your friends. And I'll bring you more later on Scott Reads Comics. Thanks for watching.